you Google a service and 3 people show up, one of them has 2 5-star Google reviews, another person has 15 4.8-star Google reviews, and another person has 75 4.9-star Google reviews. We all know who we're going to call.
Hey guys, Christian Jones here, coming to you on the 20th, Noah? Is it the 20th of January? You know what that means. Tax season's right around the corner. If you're in the tax and accounting industry, this is go mode. And Noah Jenks and I, we're both from TaxProMarketer. We want to talk for a few minutes on, I think, some of the most important topics from a digital marketing standpoint that you should lean into for tax season. So here's my experience. Noah, I want to cue you up to talk about yours. We're still talking to lots of people in this industry who want help. We're talking to lots of people that want help with their digital marketing. And you know what's really hard this time of year? To find space and time to do anything. It's hiring. It's the building you moved into. It's the new software you've got. It's the questions you're getting from clients already that are starting to just dominate your time. And you know what's really easy to let slide until later? Digital marketing. And it makes sense. I totally get it. The tyranny of the urgent is that you just have to serve your clients and run your business. But most of the time in business, if you're running your own business, how many things are really important, but not urgent that get missed? What we're going to talk about today would fall under the banner of something that's really important, but just doesn't normally feel urgent. And I think that's something you, from our perspective, if you could give this a little bit of time, I think this will make a big difference for you in tax season. And the thing we're talking about today is Google reviews specifically. Okay, so Google reviews specifically. This is a needle mover. This is something that if you neglect, it's to your own detriment. It's kind of just shooting yourself in the foot. How many of you out there have hundreds of happy clients and less than 10 reviews on Google? If you even have a Google page. Many of you don't even have a Google page, but you got hundreds of happy clients. You did the hard thing. I'm not saying getting reviews is a layup, but I am saying that the easy part in getting a review is already having a happy client. You've got those in spades, many of you. Some of you are startups. You don't have any clients yet. That's okay. Let's work on getting those. You should still try and get reviews, right? And we can talk about that as we go if you're a startup. But if you're an established firm, if you have 100 clients or more, and you currently have either 0 reviews or your last review, even if you've got 20 or more, your last review is from 2022. If that's you at all, then this little mini session is for you. So we're going to be doing some of these live sessions over the coming weeks. We'll keep them posted on Facebook, YouTube, all of the places. But we want to talk about things that we think will really help and serve you when the bullets are flying during tax season. Noah, we'll get into the theory here, but let me pull you in. I've got Noah Jenks here, my lead director of so many things, sales, account management, overall extraordinaire. Tell me, Noah, because you're talking to lots of clients, and we will have story time with Noah in a little bit, talking about real life clients. But what are you, in your conversations with people about reviews, what are people saying? How are the conversations going? What are you emphasizing? Just give us a little bit of like high level. If someone is sitting here listening to this, whether it's live right now or if those into the recording, either read their mail. What are they thinking about with reviews, if anything? And what do you want them to think about?
Yeah, Christian, the interesting thing about reviews, and let me get a little theoretical, and we'll kind of dive into the psychology of user behavior for a second, is we live in a review-generated society. I don't care if you're looking for a plumber, an electrician, a coffee shop, a Thai food restaurant, a CPA. I don't care what it is. Intrinsically, as a society, we, at least over 90% of us, we Google, and yes, I do say specifically Google, because we get that a question a lot. Well, no, what about Yelp reviews or Facebook reviews? And I don't know, they're not going to hurt you. They're just not going to help you as much as a Google review. We are all just in Google's world playing by their rules. And like, that's a fact. We know that. Google is synonymous with search. It's a verb, something we do in our society. So we all rely very heavily on these reviews, but ironically, very few of us actually leave the reviews, which is really frustrating for a business owner because a lot of your business, while SEO, marketing, we're not talking about all that stuff today, advertising, we'll hit that stuff another day.
Yeah.
That's a whole beast in itself. But reviews is your reputation. It's your
Mm.
credibility. It's your online authority. When we find a business, whatever the thing is that we want to work with, first, we search that thing. Someone is going to show up, number one. Second, we vet them based on their reviews. Quantity, frequency, star rating, content in the review, owner response. That's a big one. That's a heavily neglected area. But we heavily rely on these when we make our decisions. Same rules apply for the tax industry. CPA near me, best accountant, I need a bookkeeper, I owe back taxes, best tax professional, 1040 tax. Those are all the ones you want to show up for. Probably don't want to show up this time of year for cheap taxes near me, free tax professional. You probably don't want to show up for those. And again, that's a bigger part of this ecosystem. We're not hitting on that today. We're hitting on this one little piece, this one cog in all of this, which are reviews. But like we'll show in a little while, the reviews are a really big needle mover in a lot of different ways. They're a big needle mover when you get them. They help you rank a lot higher, but they also are going to help you make the decision. If you Google a service and 3 people show up, one of them has 2 5-star Google reviews, another person has 15 4.8-star Google reviews, and another person has 75 4.9-star Google reviews, we all know who we're going to call. Like
Ghostbusters.
we know who we're going to reach out to first. And they may not be the best, because here's the other funny part about it. Google doesn't actually know. Google doesn't know the services you provide for your clients or don't provide for your clients, or that person across town. The amount of people Christian and I talk to where we look up their what's called their SERP page, search engine result page, and we say, let's look at how you actually show up in this. And it's probably, maybe it's not great, but they look at the people outranking them, and they're like, oh, that firm, they're blah, blah, blah. Like, they're trash. Everybody's leaving them. I'm like, well, that firm that everybody's leaving is outranking you. So guess who a lot of people are also going to also. Christian, talk about, I love this. I love live data.
Yeah. So I just did a search for a random market. Let's look at Portland, Oregon. We've got a team member going up there for a little trip this week, so it came to mind. And this is just to emphasize with a visual what you were saying. And if you're in Portland, Oregon, and one of these individuals, well done. You're on page 1. However, just being on page 1 doesn't guarantee you results.
Yep.
And let's kind of look at that, right? So I don't know if I can have like a highlighter tool or not. I'll see if I can get like a little markup tool. But generally speaking, you got 3 groups here. One at the top with 78 reviews. Next one has 42, and the third one has 10. So we need to talk about the people that are not here. How many good businesses are on page 2, 3, 4, and 5? And are, either they've been around longer, they've got bigger books of business, a better staff, a better process, but Google doesn't know that. And so here's the big idea. And this is not just reviews, but reviews is something you as the business owner can leverage. It's in your control to a degree to ask your happy clients for reviews. Therefore, it's one of a few things that you can actually do to make a difference with ranking on Google. Mm-hmm. Getting reviews is one of just a few things you can do to heavily influence Google's algorithm. In Portland, Oregon, hey, you're wide open. Portland, Oregon CPA, none of these groups has over 100 reviews. None of them do. And again, I bet they're all doing well because they're on page 1, but it's a product of our industry. Back to what I said at the top. It's the tyranny of the urgent, not the important. This is important. And any group who decides to take some of their 500 to 1,000 current customers in Portland, Oregon, and put them through a review generation process, which we've got for our clients, is going to be on page 1 by the end of tax season. Mm-hmm. And what difference is that going to make this tax season? It is going to make a difference, but it's also going to make a bigger difference every tax season from here on out. There's a quote I like to use when I do webinars on, different CPE platforms or from the stage. And it's not mine. It's not even the person I took it from. They got it from a philosopher. So shout out to Nate. Erasmus of Rotterdam. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And I love that. The first time I heard him say that, it was like, yeah, that's it. Like in digital marketing within our industry, you have a lot of people who have their eyes closed. You have a couple that have one eye open. And so if you're this first group here with 78 reviews, you are getting the lion's share of calls and website traffic. Now, you might stink at sales. Okay. So you're not actually converting, right? So marketing does lead to sales, right? There's an inflection point there. There's a baton pass. You do have to be good at sales and know how to handle a prospect and a lead, but you're at least getting the opportunity. And that's what ranking on Google gives you. It gives you the opportunity to close someone. And I want to give our clients and people in our industry the opportunity to get more sales. You don't have to close everyone that calls you. No one's going to make you. I'm not going to make you, but I want to give you the chance to close more leads because you've opened up a channel called the internet that you've never had before. You've never ranked online. You've never been on page 1 of Google, and you've probably at times dumped some money into this or thought about it. You've got a website. You talk to your nephew or niece that went to college and they're, Gen Z or millennial and yeah, whatever. Like you've thrown some stuff at the wall and you just don't think this is for you. Google, I got news for you. Google doesn't give a rip how long you've been in business, how many staff members you have, how many clients you have. Google cannot know. Google cannot know truly who the best tax preparer is. They can't. They're guessing. It's your job to help them guess that it's you. That's it.
Well,
Your
and
job is to
Christian, if
help
I
them
if
guess.
I can jump in for half a second, it's playing the game. Okay, it's
Yes.
not it's not a huge mystery on how to rank in Google. We
Mm-hmm.
know how to rank in Google. It's just most people don't take the time to do it. One of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest questions I get is, well, I've asked my clients for reviews. They don't leave them. And my question is, well, how are you asking?
Yeah.
Because we all know that it's not are you doing it, it's the way in which you do it. It's the strategy that you do it. Are you using a QR code? How about your staff? Are you incentivizing them to get Google reviews? Are you sending out automated campaigns before tax season, after tax season, quarterly? Are you proactively doing this? Now, of course, like we do this for our clients, but the biggest thing is it's not just about getting to a number. It's not just getting to a number and say, well, I have X amount of reviews. This client or this business in Portland, I have 70 reviews. Well, guess what?
Right.
Somebody's always gunning for you. Somebody is always trying to outrank you. And oftentimes it's not about who has the most reviews. It's about who has the most recent reviews because
Yes.
Google will reward you for recency. Okay, that is a big thing. It's not uncommon for us to see our clients outrank other people in their market, even if that other person has 100 Google reviews and they have 30. Well, but if our client got 15 reviews in the last 4 weeks,
Yep.
that sends really good signals to the algorithm. Hey, people are
Yep.
saying good things about this business. The business owner is responding. Yes, you need to respond to every review you get, positive or negative. You have to respond not with thank you, but with a thoughtful, well thought out SEO keyword
Yes.
optimized response will help you. But you have to do that. Otherwise, you're just wasting opportunity. And that's what
Yes.
this is. Google doesn't care about anything that you think is awesome in your business. I'm sorry, don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. Okay.
Yes.
It cares about the things that it cares about. And one of them is consistency in reviews. So you have to think about what's my strategy in getting these. We're coming into tax season right now. We are knocking on the door. What is your strategy? How are you prepared to ask your clients for good Google? Are you prepared to ask your clients for reviews? Most people say, well, yeah, no, I just ask them. Hey, will you leave us a Google review? Oh, I'd be happy to. You're great. Well, what
Yeah.
happens? They walk out your door. They get in their car. They check their text messages. They go pick their kids up from school. They have to go to the grocery store, sports practice, whatever.
Right.
And they forget. It's not that they hate you. It's not that they don't think you did good service. It's not that they're happy with it. You just didn't make it easy for them to leave you a review. But if
Mm-hmm.
you have a system and you have a way that they can very simply leave you that review, you are going to grow just by that. If you look at really kind of some baseline metrics, whenever a new firm comes to work with us, I say within the first 3 months, I want you to have at least 5% of your clients having left you a review.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that looks very different for different clients. If you have 20 clients, I don't expect you to get 20 reviews in the next 30 days. I expect you to get one or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you have 3,000 clients, I'll tell you, we just started this automation for a client of ours in LA. They sent me a list. They have over 3,500 clients. Well, in the last 2 days, I think they've gotten 5 reviews in the last 2 days.
Yep.
From an automation. Now, 5% of that list is going to be bananas. It's going to be a couple hundred reviews. But you don't stop there. If you have 500 clients, it's not saying, great, I got to 50 Google reviews. Now I can stop. I got to 10%. No.
Right.
Within 6 months, you should be at 20%. If you're asking, if
It's
you have strategy, if you have a plan.
yes. It's what have
If
you
you
done for me
don't have that
lately?
plan, it's not going to work.
Right. It's what have you done for me lately? It's what have you done not 2 years ago, not 5 years ago. You've got 50 plus reviews. If you're one of the lucky ones, 100 plus reviews. You are vulnerable to having your ranking lost at any point. Let me come back to this and I'll go to this slide here in a minute. Any of these groups in Portland aren't guaranteed to stay here. And the groups that are found here, if I go to more businesses, any of these groups that are not in the top 3, which here's our top 3 again, 4 reviews, 10 reviews, 10 reviews, 27 reviews, 2 reviews, 23, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Any one of these groups can come onto page 1 by the end of this tax season or before with consistency with reviews. This is not pay to play. This is not paying to be on page 1. These sponsored ads are, these are pay to play. These are sponsored. Okay. This is organic. This is free. This down here is free. This is great. This is the main thing you want to focus on. So if you've got a tactic in tax season, it's kind of as soon as possible, getting your happiest clients an automated campaign to say, hey, love working with you. Could you leave me some feedback on Google? It has to be direct, consistent. There has to be follow-up. And like Noah was saying, the recency bias with Google, play the game. Make Google think you've just got the best, happiest client base in the whole area. And that may be true, it may not be true, but it's what Google thinks is true. So make Google think that's true. It's just like a restaurant or a plumber, which are examples Noah brought up. A new restaurant opens, it's opening weekend, they get 55-star reviews on, night 1, opening the doors, specials, deals, discounts, and now they're hitting the ground running. Well, Google takes notice of that, right? And they're like, oh, here's a hot new restaurant. Google wants to serve up the best option to people. And maybe the thing you need to hear, guys, is that doing this is worth your time because your leads are looking on these channels. 83% of consumers use Google to find local business reviews, and they're consuming at least a couple of reviews in their business research to make a buying decision. Now, this data is from Bright Local, third-party SEO group. Love Bright Local. The big idea here is people are, by and large, not looking at the store they drove by in the strip mall that said tax services on it. It's not what they're doing. Referrals and warm network, yeah, super strong. That's not going anywhere. Most of you have built your business through referrals in your warm network, and that's great. Well done. You've earned trust, you've earned rapport, you've earned credibility, and you get those warm emails of like, hey, my friend said you're the best, and, can you squeeze me in? That's awesome. I love that. Don't ever stop that. But there are other ways to get clients, and if you want to grow, you have to stop having a solo channel, a single channel kind of marketing strategy. If all you have is one channel for lead acquisition, you're your ceiling is greatly reduced of what growth can be. It just is. Your ceiling is greatly reduced if you have one channel for getting new leads, which for most of you is just your good name. And I love that. But people are looking at, do you even show up? And then if you do show up, do you have higher than 3, 4 stars, 5 stars? How do you stack against the competition? Here's lots of data that marketers are doing around consumers and their buying, purchasing decision. It's all out there. Like, this is not hocus pocus magic. This is data-driven stuff. I'll digress for a second. I just read a book. I love this book. My partner, Troy, turned me onto it. It's a book called The Search for God in Guinness. And it's the story of the Guinness family. Started obviously the beer, right? And it's fascinating. And the Guinness family has kind of 3 branches that break off, and I'll focus on the beer. But it's like you got the kids from the original Arthur Guinness that like run the business. They run the family brewery. You got some kids that go into banking and some kids that go into the church. It's a fascinating story. So just maybe a shameless plug for that book. It's an inspiring, fun business read. But for the family that stays in the business, they make lots of progress throughout like the centuries. Do you know what takes them from being a really well-respected but limited brewery on the world stage, mostly focused in Ireland and London, the United Kingdom? Do you know what it was? Their famous Guinness ads that many of us have seen, and that's a little bit dated. It's like the 1930s, 40s, 50s, I believe, is when those started. When they finally embraced that advertising for beer might be a good thing. They were resistant to. They just said, if it's a good product, people will buy it. That's literally what they said in their board meetings. For a century, they did not do any advertising. Zero. A massive global brewery. Now, this is also kind of the sign of the times, right? Not a lot of people did marketing and advertising, but some were, right? Marketing and advertising is, developing in the 20th century, and they kind of resisted it because if it's a good thing, people will just find it and like it and keep buying it. Then they realized advertising, marketing, that's what took them to be a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation. And that's just one example, but it's like the tried, tested, true principles that when you get in front of your ideal market with the right offer, good things happen. Mm-hmm. Your ideal market isn't people buying beer, but it's people that need help with taxes, and they're freaked out. They're getting on Google to look for someone they can trust. And most of you are just not visible. You're not only not visible, but if you do have a Google page, even with reviews, they're not picking you. Simply because out of the hundreds of happy clients you've built up over the years, you've never asked them for these reviews. It's all there. You've got all the ingredients sitting on the countertop. Let's put them in the bowl and throw it in the oven. And let's do that today. This is one of those things that if I can get your attention and help you focus on as a consultant, if I can not just be a marketer selling you something, right? If I can not be perceived that way, if I can just tell you, which we'll maybe turn here in a moment to looking at data with you, this is the single most important thing you can do in the world of digital marketing. Sending emails, fixing your website, running paid ads, also important. But if there is a silver bullet, if there is something that's going to make an outsized difference for the effort, and it's in your control, it's getting reviews. It's gas on the fire. It's oil in the gears. You still need a fire. You still need logs, right? You still need to have, logs that you assemble and you light. But if you want to take your practice, your firm to the next level, oh boy, reviews is the ticket. It absolutely is. It's something that if you were to focus on at the end of January, the beginning of February, the rest of tax season this year will be a lot better. And I can guarantee you from here on out, forevermore, it will be incredible for you and your business. This is something that our clients, that if they do lean into it, kind of changes their business. And let's talk about some of those clients, Noah. But before we do, what else do you want to add in?
Well, and Christian, you nailed it when you said, if there's one thing you can do, Okay, there are things in the business's circle of control that they can do all on your own. You don't need a marketing firm to get Google reviews. Now, can we make it easier? Yes. Okay. Like, yes, I can make it a lot easier. I can systematize it. I can automate it. I can give you a team that's going to back you up. I can do all of that stuff. But do you need me to go ask your happy clients to leave you a review? No, you don't. You can do that. Now, do you need me to build a high quality website, write the content, email, SEO, AI optimization? Yeah, you need us to do that. Okay. Like, do not wear the marketing hat. Again, this is a different conversation for a different day, but like, don't don't go in naively thinking, oh, I can do my own marketing. Can you? Sure, I'm sure everyone listening to this, you're smart, intelligent, people. Do you want to? No, you don't. It's the same way I don't want to do my taxes. Could I? Sure. Like, I don't know. I'm a smart guy. I could figure it out. Do I want to? Absolutely not. I will gladly pay my CPA, whatever. I've got rentals, investments, like my job, like different things. I don't want to, I don't want to do that. They are going to save me so much more money slash keep me compliant and not stressed out. It's going to be worth every penny that I have to pay them for a fee because I know they're going to do it right. That's why you hire a professional marketing agency. You don't want to do all of this on your own. But reviews, you can. While they're not the only thing that's going to move the needle, they do move the needle quite a bit. Let
Yes.
me share a story if I can. We've got a client, and I'm going to share some data. Okay. And so let me kind of make sense of this data as I'm looking at it. This is what's called a keyword ranking report. We share this with all of our clients. We do monthly account management meetings with our clients. We go over the data because the data matters. These are lead indicators that are showing the lag indicator of client acquisition. But you're going to notice something here and this is just from this year. This client's been with us they're coming up on their anniversary in a couple of weeks. Okay. But notice February, you don't really see much. They're not ranking for anything. Well, that's when they started with us. They had, I think, 5, 6 Google reviews. They didn't really have much. They got started in February. That's the middle of tax season. And just a little bit of backstory on this client. They're in the, kind of Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Washington area. About 500 clients, decent sized business, really looking to grow accounting, advisory, business tax, looking to grow that side of things. Not really wanting the individual tax so much, really wanting to grow the business side of things. Okay. I think he had about 5, 6 Google reviews when he came to us. Nothing to speak of website, templatized website, just really hadn't ever done anything in this ecosystem. Okay. I will be very honest. You don't see much growth all the way through April, May, June. And it was right about in mid-June that I got an email from this client. And they said, "This is dumb. This doesn't work. I quit." I'm like, "Oh, time out." Now, keep in mind, I had been reaching out to this client every single month for the last 3 months to get them on my calendar for an account management call. Let's go over data. Let's go over strategy. Let's talk. If we don't talk to our clients, I don't know I can look at data, but I don't know the calls you're having. And if something isn't working, I have to know that. That's why we have to talk to our clients. And then you notice a big uptick in the colors right here. Again, you'll see over here keywords. The dark green is keywords ranking in number 1. The medium green is keywords ranking in the 2 to 5, still essentially on page 1. We want to see the more dark green and medium green as possible. What happened between June and July? We got his list of 500 clients. He sent us the contact information. We uploaded that list into our CRM called Client Stack. We started an automation where we started dripping out these Google review requests. And what happened is that he started getting Google reviews because he started asking, because his clients love him and he was happy. And we talked about other strategies because we started meeting on a monthly basis. He started using other strategies that I advised him on, using a QR code, having his staff ask for reviews. And you're going to notice steady increase in his keyword ranking over July, August, September, October, and he started ranking extremely well. If you kind of look at right here, he started ranking by October. He was ranking for what's that? 40 keywords on page 1. Crushing the greater Seattle market. He was outranking almost like he was dominating that market. And what about the results? I had a great call with him in November, just, standard monthly meeting. And we were looking at lead acquisition because that's a whole nother metric we track. Website leads, advertising leads, lead quality. And I found out some really interesting information. He had closed between August and October over 20 clients, advisory focused clients, a multiple of them over $30,000 of annual gross revenue for his business. Between August and October, he closed close to $200,000 of gross revenue, annual gross revenue for the firm. Now, is that only because of Google reviews? No. It's also because of the website we built and because of the SEO and because of nurture email follow and all these other things we do. Again, topic for another day. But is it in large part, is this great, very upward trajectory momentum in large part due to reviews? 100%. He's over 70 Google reviews now. He went from 6 to 70 in the course of a couple of months. Is that because he has a crystal ball? No, it's because he asked. It's because he had a system. It's because he reached out. It's because he said, hey, will you leave me a Google review, instead of just hoping that his clients will benevolently leave him a review. Because unfortunately, like we talked about at the beginning, we don't leave reviews, which is really backwards because we rely so heavily on them. When you ask for reviews, good things will happen. Now, does he have 50% of his clients having left him a review? No. But that wouldn't be my expectation. I don't expect him to have 250 Google reviews today. By the end of tax season, do I expect him to have well over 100? Yeah, I do. And those are benchmarks I'm setting for him. By the summer, do I expect him to have over 150? 100% I do. By next tax season, do I expect him to have between 160 to 180 plus? Yes, because that's the other part. You don't just ask during tax season. You need to be getting these year round. In order to do that, I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record, Christian. You have to have a system. If you don't have a system for this, it's probably not going to happen. And that's probably why you're in the situation that you're in right now, where you have 300 clients going into tax season and you have 5 Google reviews. If we were on a Zoom call right now, I'd ask people to raise their hands. You're not alone. You're not unique in that situation. Most businesses don't ask for reviews. That's why most businesses don't rank. But I guarantee you, especially this time of year, someone is searching for business tax professional. I need business tax help. This business tax near me, accountant, CPA, individual tax specialist, best individual tax specialist, on and on. Hundreds of keywords. I guarantee you people are looking for them. And I guarantee you the reason they're looking for them is because they need someone to solve their problem. You could be that person if you choose to be. If you choose to be proactive and do the thing. If you don't, that's fine. They'll go somewhere else. Somebody else will help them. But odds are they're going to go to whoever ranks best and whoever has the best reviews. It's not the only factor, but it is a highly compelling one.
Let me summarize what you just said. Yeah, let me summarize it, because here's the big takeaway. You have a lot of happy clients. You probably don't have a system for getting them to leave you feedback. You're busy. You're going to be overwhelmed by the tyranny of the urgent in the coming season. If you were to get reviews, it opens up a brand new channel where the people are really looking, which is a good thing to do. If you're going fishing, go to where the fish are. They're on Google. Let's go to where they are and let's look like the best option. Let's look trustworthy. Let's look credible. And you've got everything you need already, which is happy clients. That's what you need to get a Google review, right? Is a happy client. You've already got all that. You need someone to guide you through it. That's where we come in. You can do some of this on your own. You all are very bright, very smart, but you got in business to be a tax preparer and an accountant, not to be a marketing specialist. And given all the time in the world, which is kind of a false, kind of hypothetical because when will we have all the time in the world? You could certainly figure this stuff out, but why don't you shortcut it? And my recommendation to you is to invest in marketing with someone to get a return. Investing in marketing just in this area to get reviews is going to be one of the best things you do. And this is one of about 6 or 7 kind of core focuses for us. Like the Google Business Profile is definitely a massive cog in the machine in the ecosystem, but it's not the only thing. Email, website, social media, running ads, your sales pipeline and CRM, all of that matters too, greatly. This is just something that's actionable, that's timely, that if you leaned into, will make this tax season raise the ceiling on what growth will look like and beyond this season. And that's the thing that I want to highlight for all of you. Use this tax season to take steps in the right direction. It's not always overnight. Sometimes there is a lag. But you are not wrong if you invest time, money, and energy in building the trust and credibility of your business online, especially on Google, which is this reviews factor. Looking like the most trustworthy, best option will pay you back in spades, and you don't have to do it alone. That's what we're here for. And if you want to connect on that, I'd encourage you to go to taxpromarketer.com/leadflow, taxpromarketer.com/leadflow, grab a call with Noah or I, and we can kind of walk you through this in a one-to-one setting.